welcome back to another New Age DFS EPL slate breakdown.
We've been crushing EPL, had a member hit for 5K in a Tottenham showdown on Monday, so now we're just going to try and continue the good mojo with this staggered two-gamer. So there's going to be a lot of game theory here, a lot of whether you stack the first game, you stack the second game, or do you just want to mix them together. So first game, Brentford Burnley. Brentford favorites at plus 115. If this is the lineup, Eriksen should have monopoly. And then for Burnley, they're just a mess. We know who will take at least something is Westwood. And then it will depend. Cornet should, but McNeil could. So never know with them. And then for the big game of the day, one that is probably exciting to the neutral, Man United and Tottenham. Man United plus 120 favorites. Ronaldo's supposed to be back. If this is the team, Telles should take most corners with Bruno taking some and Sancho there for the short ones. And then Son would take everything for Tottenham. So let's check the pricing. I mean, you have to think about it this way. Most two gamers, unless you think of games like 4-4, you just want raw points. So nobody screams more raw points than guys like Son and McNeil. So who do you like most at forward so far?
Son McNeil's just gonna be cash chalk just because he always is. He always will get a 10. Like regardless of whether he has set pieces or not, he'll just find a way to get there. And I think Cornet's probably at the more upside of the two of them, but I don't know how you don't go McNeil over him in cash. In GPP, I think you can chase a little bit more upside looking at Cornet or even Kane and Tony for the more expensive options.
Like, no one's going to be low owned in GPP because people just flock. I think Tony will be probably the highest owned guy because Burnley have been struggling defensively without Ben Mee, as we've seen. So
I think people will still just go Kane over him. He's just a household name, and it's just been hot in general. Like I think the casual community will just flock to Kane like they always do, and he's been getting the job done as of late. So he's still a good player.
Same with Tony. I mean, he's coming off a hat trick. It was against Norwich, but he has PKs. We've seen. Doesn't matter what the score is. They're giving Tony the PKs. Unfortunately, we were hoping for Eriksen last week. They just wouldn't give him a penalty, even up 3-0. So that's cool. But I think the decision in cash is whether you want to just plug in Son or do you just go McNeil and go somebody like Weghorst who's cheap or Cornet, I guess. But it's tough.
I think you're most likely going Son and just picking and choose one of the other options, personally.
And Ronaldo, like, who would have thought in the year 2022, Ronaldo at home against Tottenham is cheaper than Dwight McNeil? I mean, come on, that's kind of disrespectful. I think if Ronaldo's fit, which they say he is, it's going to be hard, especially the casual is just going to plug in Ronaldo at 7,700. So, I mean, thinking about it more, I think you might have to go Ronaldo in cash as a forward.
There's plenty of options. It's forward's really stacked, even though it's just a two-gamer.
Yeah, which you don't usually see too often. So we talked about Son, Tony, Kane, McNeil, Ronaldo. Cornet is interesting. He has been kind of shaky recently in terms of points. He started off so good, and then he's just been so bad. So, and Burnley just are a team that just seem to never get corners besides Westwood. So it's kind of tough to pick guys like that. Sancho, he seems a little overpriced. I'm not the biggest Sancho guy.
He's been their best player recently, as bad as United have been.
Yeah, he seems the most motivated, I would say. But he is still GPP for me, I would say.
Yeah. Any forward, like the first 6 on like the slate that are priced the highest are GPP.
Yeah. Alonga, same thing, GPP. I think another guy who's interesting is Mbeumo against Burnley. I'm never an Mbeumo guy. He's just horrible, but man, he has a good matchup here. He's not going to have sets, but he's going to, be active on the wing.
Yeah.
And another forward, Weghorst, I mean, he's been good. He has a good matchup. Burnley.
He's been good for a game.
Brentford are not a team I'm scared of targeting, though, right? I mean, they give up goals. I know they have Raya back, which is a big thing that I don't think people have realized, but with Raya back, they've been a little bit better. And then the rest of these guys are just GPP.
If they can play.
Midfield, I think you just plug in Bruno and call it a day, and you also plug in Eriksen and call it a day. I think those two are just the standout locks. I mean, regardless of how bad Eriksen's been, he's not going to keep being this bad. He's just coming back. Monopoly of sets, like, you can't pass up on that. But now we just got to talk about the guys like
I think for
Kulusevski.
GPP too, though, you can get away with the Bruno fade. Like, he doesn't have set pieces, which means he's got like the ability to bust. Like, he could drop like a 4 like he did last game, and suddenly he's gonna be like 80% owned. And then if you fade him, you're in a really good spot.
Big difference between playing Tottenham and Man City, I will say. But the guy who's been on fire recently is Kulusevski. I mean,
hot.
He's just been so in these showdowns. He's just been so much. You have to play him over Harry Kane or something. Now we're in a spot where you don't really have to do that. So I might play him in GPP. I'm not scared of United defensively.
No, they're going to be focusing on their Champions League game too against Atleti's on Tuesday. So like you got to think they'll have an eye looking towards that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Next, Pogba, GPP. He keeps getting subbed. It's really annoying. I mean, I assume they do the same because of Champions League.
He's kind of interesting. He plays further forward, though, like he did against City, like at left wing.
Yeah. I doubt they do that again. That just didn't work. That was the problem. Like, they had no outlet. So, man. Next, I mean, Eriksen, we talked about as a lock. Canos, they moved to a midfield, which is kind of annoying, I say. Because I was on him last week. He did all right. I mean, 3 goals in a forward position. I mean, he didn't do anything, so that was annoying. Norgard, you're just hoping for 10 tackles. And then you get to guys like Højbjerg, Fred, and Westwood, who are guys who just always get there. Who do you like out of those?
Westwood's really cheap. I mean, you know what you're getting out of him, which is just a side of corners at center mid for 4K. Sorry about my background. But yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, Westwood, I think, is just going to be a plug and play in cash. Højbjerg and Fred are just guys who have ceilings as midfielders. You know, Fred can always pop up with a goal here and there. Højbjerg with tackles and an assist also. Keep going here. I mean, McTominay. Janelt is always just a guy you can punt. Bentancur, same thing. But other than that, I mean, I think mid is just Bruno, Eriksen, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, the forwards are where we're inside the slate today, not the mids as much.
Yeah. So defender, I think you just lock and load Tellez with sets 5,100. I know he's bad, but it's against Man City. I mean, I'm not worried about that being a bad game for him. And then you just decide, do you want to play these Tottenham guys? Because Reguilon's going to play with no Sessegnon, but he always seems to get subbed early every time I pick him. And then Doherty's just been the best right back in the Prem recently. So are you going to play some Doherty?
Like, I don't know if he's going to keep getting, I don't want to say bailed out, but bailed out is, I think, the right word, because he's just bringing so many goal contributions. I don't know if that's sustainable, especially against United, who are better than the teams they've been playing.
Yeah, he has no floor. And I mean, it's easy to say that he's been good, but it helps when you play Everton and Leeds. So who can't defend it all. I mean, second defender is kind of tough here. I mean, we see in projected lineups, if Ayer at right back, his assist was not from like a cross or anything. He's horrible, but I mean, defender is kind of bad other than Tellez, unless you're hoping that Doherty continues to be the best.
Maybe you punt up Pinnock, go for an Eriksen assist.
Maybe. I mean, GPP, you do that for sure. Rico Henry's a guy who I sometimes go to if I'm desperate.
He's
bad. He's really bad, but I mean, you know, he scored back-to-back games when I had him.
Dropping a 15 with a goal each time.
Exactly. Pinnock, I mean, he gets there as a center back floor, and then everybody else is GPP. So I think the main decision is Tellez and who. Is it Charlie Taylor? Is it Ayer? Is it Rico Henry? So that's what we've come down to. And just as a reminder, you know, you want to leave your utility for the last game, whoever it is, even if they don't start. You just want to have a placeholder so you can late swap, like, you know, what if Ronaldo doesn't start and then you have to pivot to somebody and somebody who's not owned or something. So
Yeah.
that's the edge in these two gamers, just leaving your utility open and maybe just stacking the late game because people just get antsy. Goalkeeper, interesting to see De Gea most expensive. He gets saves. I mean, you're just hoping for saves. United seem to have Tottenham's number. We'll see if that continues. But I think the goalie I like the most is Raya.
I actually completely agree with you. He's who I'd say too. I mean, Burnley have been really bad last couple of games since Ben Mee got hurt. Like, they're giving up goals for fun. They haven't scored like anything in the last 2 games. I mean, we've seen Brentford pick up some momentum, hopefully, after that Norwich win. Maybe they'll improve suddenly. I just maybe wishful thinking, but I don't mind Raya at all for that cheap.
And I'm sure people will go Pope because they always go Pope. I don't know if I want to play Lloris. I mean,
He should be. I don't know. I think he's interesting for sure. Like, Tottenham have been pretty. He makes saves. Like, Tottenham, like, he won't end on negative, I don't think.
Lloris is more interesting than Pope.
Yeah, I think that for sure.
So I think goalie ranking Raya, De Gea, Lloris, Pope for me.
Yeah.
So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the little 2-game preview we did. We got golf carnage happening now, so we'll see if they even play. And we got
And
soccer.
we'll have another preview for the Sunday slate too.
Yep, we'll have a preview for the 5-gamer, which DraftKings decided to make the prize pool tiny for. So that's cool. But other than that, we're going to keep crushing these cores and these showdowns and these classics and everything. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.